Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you my gear requirement for using a photo gear DOF adapter. The photo gear DOF adapter has just come into the market. It has filled a vacuum for DOF adapters because the other adapters that were in the market like the Ulanzi and the Beast Grip have gone out of production. So smartphone enthusiasts who want to get a shallow depth of field or a bokeh effect are now resorting to the use of a DOF adapter. But the use of a DOF adapter, as you know, comes with several caveats. So this DOF adapter, the photo gear DOF adapter, has got a Sony E mount. Unless you use a Sony lens, you may have to use other lenses and full frame lenses. Those are difficult to find. The authentic Sony lenses, full frame lenses are pretty expensive, and so there is no point in purchasing a DOF adapter. So if you want to use other manual focus lenses which are rare to find, then you have to use an adapter, lens adapter, to convert the base or to convert the base of your lens, that is a Nikon or a Canon or a Pentax or a Zeica lens, whatever it may be. You may have to use one like this. I am using a Viltrox Nikon to Sony E mount adapter. Then you'll have to use a manual focus lens. This is a Nikon lens, 55 millimeter, and it is pretty heavy. It weighs about 500 or 600 grams. You have to bear these factors in mind when you want to use your DOF adapter, and then you have to decide upon what rig you want to use. So I use my Samsung S22 Ultra and the Samsung Note Ultra with which I am recording with the DOF adapter. As you know, there is no universal rig which goes with these phones now. There is an Ulanzi rig and a Beast Grip for the iPhone, but every year these phones keep changing, and then you will have to wait for these specific rigs to come into the market. So it is nearly impossible to keep pace with those specifically designed rigs, and a universal camera rig is more practical. So I'll show you my universal camera rig. I've shown it to you in previous videos. It is the Dream Grip Evolution Pro universal camera rig. This is my Dream Grip Evolution Pro universal camera rig. It has got two metal rails at the top and the bottom, two handles. There is a phone camera mount here. There's a phone mount here, and this is the lens support. So this lens support has got two rings. The outer one is over here is a 37 millimeter ring for you to thread on macro lenses or other lenses which are 37 millimeter base, and then this ring is filled up by narrowed down by a smaller ring which is a 17 millimeter ring. So the DOF adapter, that is the photo gear DOF adapter, will thread easily onto that. So remember that you will have to get a universal camera rig which can accommodate the DOF adapter. Why am I saying this? The photo gear DOF adapter comes with a phone clamp like this, and the ring over here is movable, as you can see. So this phone clamp is supposed to be fixed on to your phone like this, to the main lens. Remember, you have to use the main lens like that. But then when you think of what will happen if you attach a DOF adapter, this one here, then the lens adapter in front of that, and finally this Nikon lens which weighs quite a lot, what will happen to this ring? It will just slip. It will slip. I've seen this. You can try it out yourself. It will just fall and it will not stay focused, and then there's always a risk of you cracking the screen with the clip with the heavy weight attached to it. So therefore this universal camera rig is a requirement. But this universal camera rig alone you cannot do handheld shooting with a DOF adapter. Try shooting it because if you hold it by the two handles here, it's quite heavy. Unlike DSLR cameras or mirrorless cameras, the whole construct is very heavy and it will tend to droop. You won't be able to adjust the manual focus and it's very heavy. So you have to use and moreover you want the DOF adapter and the lens to remain fixed over this 17mm thread. You don't want this to shift relative to the lens of the camera, because under the weight, if this shifts, then you will get a bokeh or vignetting effect, and every time you want to center it, you have to unscrew your phone, the DOF adapter, and again fix it to the lens and all that. So for that, the next requirement is this one. This is a 15mm rail. This is a Pro Aim rail. It has got a quick release plate, and this quick release plate is threaded into the base of the lens holder here. The screw, 1/4 screw of the PR plate will go into this. So this is going to be eccentrically loaded. So you can't mount this structure like this on the tripod because it will tilt to one side. So for that, there is a central screw in the Dream Grip Evolution Pro to be fitted into the tripod. And then next question is about the tripod. You cannot do with a normal tripod for phone cameras and all that. You need a really solid fluid head tripod. I've got a Digitech tripod, it's pretty good. So you need a solid fluid head tripod with tilt, panning, tilting and everything. So that's a requirement. You can't use a monopod, because when you want to use a monopod without a leg, that is 3 legs, and if you just want to use a spike, then you have to hold the monopod with one hand and this camera rig with another, and then you won't be able to manually focus it. That will also be difficult. So you're really confined to using a rig, camera rig, Dream Grip Evolution Pro, because there is no other rig right now. A 15mm rail. And now for this video, the specific item which I wanted to highlight is that I have shown this attachment in my previous video, where I've shown you how you can mount your lens adapter and DOF adapter on this universal. You can refer to those videos up here. In this video, the specific point which I wanted to mention, which I've recently acquired, is this one. This is a lens support, specifically lens support for the 15mm rail. This is from Pro Aim, a company in India, but their brand name over here is called Snap Rig. It's threaded on to this 15mm rail, and it can be moved back and forth. So you can move it back and forth until it abuts on the specific part of the lens or the DOF adapter, or the DOF adapter, the lens, or this lens adapter, wherever you want, wherever you find that it's getting a support, and then elevate this, loosen this, elevate it to the desired height, and tighten the screw. That's it. But I found that when I was using this Nikon lens, your lens may be different. You may have a zoom lens. When I was using a Nikon lens, there was a gap between the jaws of this lens support system and the lens. It was not quite firmly supported. So therefore, I tried, I've shown you a picture also, I will show you now. So I had to use padding over here and over here. That is one method. Other method was to move this support back until it abutted on this projection of the lens adapter, like that. So that was given support, and so these are two options. Either you can use padding, move this lens support to whichever part of the construct where you can get support. So this is my rig for using a PhotoGear DOF adapter. It has been threaded into the 17mm hole of my Dream Grip Evolution Pro camera rig. And since the PhotoGear DOF adapter will accommodate only Sony E-mount lenses, I had to get a Viltrox Nikon to Sony adapter which contributes to the weight of the construct, and then in front I have attached a Nikon full frame 55mm lens. It is quite a heavy lens, weighing about 600 grams. So the combined weight of all these 1, 2 and 3 have to be supported by using a camera rig as is shown here. And since the front end of this construct is going to be heavy, I'm supporting this construct with a Pro Aim lens support system here. 15mm rail Pro Aim lens support system. I purchased this in India, and it is supporting, it does rise up to the lens, but it is not sufficient. So I had to use some foam in between the metal support and the lens to support the lens here up in the front. This is the most cost-effective way of getting a lens support system. I had this Dream Grip Evolution Pro already with me. I've made a few videos on this, and it serves well, but you need to use a 15mm rail here to support of the lens adapter and the DOF adapter. That is how you can use it. And then you can imagine that carrying the whole construct is going to be heavy. So handheld shooting may not be an option if you want to use a DOF adapter. You will have to mount this whole construct on a stable tripod. Even a monopod won't work, because when you use a monopod, you'll have to support the monopod with one hand and operate this. That is, you want to adjust the manual focus here. That may not be possible. So a fluid head tripod, a stable fluid head tripod with a tilt head is going to work. So if that is the case, then using this clamp provided by PhotoGear in their product seems to be unreasonable, because you can see it is made up of plastic, and this portion just clamps on to the front of your phone, and you tighten it with a screw over here. So when you tighten this with this screw, there is always a risk of cracking the glass of your phone with this. You don't know how much pressure to exert, because you want to have more sufficient pressure to prevent this from falling away from the phone. And when you tighten the screw, there is a risk of the glass breaking. And even then, this is not sufficient to bear the weight of this. As I said before, this lens weighs 600 grams, this one weighs another 300 grams, this one weighs, everything comes to nearly a kilo. And can you imagine a kilo of weight being held in this? Although you can move this slot up and down, it's not possible. So in conclusion, the best rig for using a DOF adapter is this. The advantage is that if you use this rig, you can add a follow focus system here, because when you're operating this, you may have to move the focus wheel over here on the camera, and if you have a follow focus ring, you can operate it, you can attach it to this one and use the follow focus ring. Another place where this construct can be supported is the extension of the lens adapter. This is a Viltrox Nikon to Sony E-mount adapter, and it has got an extension here to attach a tripod. It would be difficult to attach a tripod screw into this system. So this lens support system from Pro-Aim can be moved backward from here underneath the lens where it does not support the lens adequately, and you have to add a foam padding behind, and this extension is quite firm, and you can see that it is adequately supported on this lens support system. You can add padding if you want over there. So you have to move this lens support system on the 15mm rail back until it is at level with this Viltrox adapter, and you can support it there. So when you do that, first you have to loosen these screws, this one and this one, move this rig on the rail system, and then raise or lower this part, and then when it has got adequate support, tighten this screw. This is from Snap Rig, sold by Pro-Aim in India. In the next video, I will be talking about the lenses for the PhotoGear DOF adapter. It is mandatory to use full frame manual focus lenses for DSLR cameras. Lenses for mirrorless cameras won't work because you will get heavy vignetting and the frame will be smaller. Then it's also important to choose the effective focal length of your lens, because there is a secret over there also. The effective focal length of this lens, this is a 55mm lens, it is 55mm. But then what are the traps when you want to use a lens of some other brand like Nikon, Canon, Pentax or Leica or whatever with this DOF adapter? They won't fit. So there is a trap over there which you have to be aware of. I will unreveal that in my next video. So if you want to know more about this, then you can consider subscribing to my channel, like and share. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye.